Now, I'm not the biggest X-Men fan out there, but I do get hyped for their movies whenever the next one's coming out. So bits and pieces of me die inside whenever I hear, does anyone even care about this movie? Wasn't this already cancelled? But what about Evan Peter? And it's not because I disagree that this movie has the potential to be a big misfire, but actually because I kinda do agree with him. Logan and the Deadpool movies aside, the main X-Men team-up movies have pretty much been hit or miss. I thought Apocalypse was alright, but it definitely hasn't aged well. I like it less and less the more times I watch it on repeat. I actually really liked their Dark Phoenix trailer, but I feel like I'm in the very minority in that one. It's kinda sad to see a lot of people hating on this series. They were the ones who shaped superhero movies to what they are today before the MCU was even around. I mean, I get it. Most of everyone's not getting hyped for the new movie. The train's lost a lot of steam. It happens. But canceling it? Yikes. And now, a guy that's never directed a single movie before is directing this one. Which, yeah, I think he deserves a chance. But to think that the end of this franchise is counting on him, you can't help but feel like maybe they should have gotten someone with a little more experience. How did they even end up here in the first place? How could characters with so much potential start off so strong and just lose so much popularity in a matter of years? And I think a lot of people already figured it out. It's the star power. Mystique was never really an A-list X-Men member. She's probably B tier, maybe even C tier. And that's not because she's so boring that it makes you brain dead, but because there's just so many cooler X-Men in comparison. Cyclops, Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, even frickin' Jubilee was more popular than her. Jennifer Lawrence was pretty great in First Class. Her name wasn't so big at the time. Fox wasn't trying so hard to milk that Hunger Games money yet. They were still thinking logically and stuck to the heart of the characters. So, Mystique's role in that movie was as it should have been. Significant, but not to the point where the X-Men revolve around her. In Days of Future Past, it was different. There was some worry out there because Jennifer's name was practically everywhere at the time. The studio could have easily milked the star out of her for money. But when you got someone who's essentially the face of the X-Men, like Wolverine, then Mystique's role in the franchise stays as it should be. Still significant, but she doesn't overshadow the other X-Men. I genuinely thought that where her character left off in the movie was the Mystique we deserved. She had that rogue mercenary feel to her, and then she leaves having grown as a person. That was a great arc. And then you get to Apocalypse. This time, Wolverine isn't there for the full ride. And now you're left with a big-name star with what should be an important, but still tame role. So how do you get more people in the theater? You crank that shit up to 1,000 and go, yeah, here's more cringy mutant and proud stuff. Yeah, eat up, yeah. And now everyone looks up to her? Aight, Mystique is supposed to be cool, but not that cool. I feel like Fox has lost all sense of understanding the X-Men team. You know something's wrong when Jean and Scott look up to Mystique. Something's not right here, guys. That's like having Disney's Spider-Man looking up to an older Miles Morales Spider-Man. Yeah, you feel how weird it is? This isn't the X-Men. This is a studio trying to make a character more relevant than they really are. You can almost feel the writers and the studio fighting for her exact screen time in Apocalypse. It's jarring. She's barely even in the Mystique makeup. There are some things you can change, and some things you just cannot change from the original source material. And I'm sorry, but Mystique isn't a major X-Men member. She should not be so focused on in these movies. It would work for a Mystique solo movie if they ever made something like that, cause it's her standalone movie. It would work if she was playing Jean Grey, cause Jean Grey is an actual major X-Men member. But you can't focus on Jennifer like this in a movie titled X-Men, because the character they gave her just doesn't work like that. They're trying to use Jennifer Lawrence's name for money, and I don't hate them because of that. But dude, you gotta try harder than this. If it's this ham-fisted to the point where the integrity of the characters are pretty much screwed, then why? I think big-budgeted studios tend to forget this, and it wrecks some of the best parts of the film. Now that's not to say you can't make an unknown character popular. That's completely fine. But to do that, you have to do it through the writing of the character. not by throwing someone in front of the camera because they're famous. This is why people love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. They're loved because they're great actors playing great characters. Jennifer Lawrence is a great actor playing Jennifer Lawrence. It's just J-Law in blue makeup. This is not Mystique. Let's compare this to the other character that wasn't popular in the comics, but is in the movies. Quicksilver.
Go get him, bro! He's getting away!
I didn't even know what the heck a Quicksilver was before Days of Future Past. If you asked anyone what they thought about Quicksilver back then, they'd probably say, "What? Who?" Evan Peters was able to make him much more charismatic than he should have been. He is an amazing actor. But even I have to admit, Evan is not a big-name actor. He's not on the same level as Hugh Jackman, RDJ, or even Jennifer Lawrence. Sure, he gets some butts in seats, but it's not the same. They can't just put his face on all the posters and crack $1 billion. And that's the beauty of it. The reason why people call him their favorite X-Men is because the movie gives you reasons to like him as Quicksilver. It doesn't rely on Evan's fame. That part where he said even though he's super fast, he always ends up being too late, somehow made one of the most overpowered X-Men characters of all time the most human. The fact that he's played by Evan Peters is just the whipped cream with a cherry on top. The memes I make about the guy just wouldn't be the same without him. I think this is where the X-Men took a wrong turn. When they started banking on an actress's fame to carry the movie rather than relying on the characters carrying the film. Honestly, if they go down this road again in Dark Phoenix, where they make Mystique the main character of literally a story marketed around Jean Grey, I don't know if Fox can take a bigger L than what they're doing to themselves. Fox, take this as a love letter from a fan. I like your movies. I like what you've done with Quicksilver. But please, I'd like this one to be great. As your last X-Men movie, please. Make this a good one. When you're thinking of sacrificing the integrity of the characters and the story for a famous actor and a few more bucks, stop it. At least try. Just try.